Should you get a console or should you get a PC? This is a question that's been asked, discussed, debated, and every other variation of communication between human beings for a multitude of years now. This is a topic that's been talked about for a very long time. My name is Bowiehunter, and today I will be discussing this, starting with this introduction, then listing differences and similarities between the platforms, and then finishing it off with taking a look at some screenshots of a PC versus console debate. It's a very spicy time. Now, if you look on YouTube for videos about this topic, you'll end up seeing a lot of the same things, from consoles versus PC, which is better, to 5 reasons why this is better than that. And while I'm sure that a lot of them have good intentions, they get some things wrong, unfortunately. Now, I am not here to tell you which one is better or to try and influence your decision towards one or the other. As I stated, the purpose of this video is for me to simply present the differences and similarities between the two platforms, PC and console, so that you have a better informed decision, as I see a lot of people continuously getting it wrong. Be that either from simply not knowing, or in a few cases, outright lying about it, which is a shame. And real quick, before we really get into it, a lot of these guys that make these 5 reasons videos mention that all you have to do is put the disc in the console, but conveniently leave out that they have to install just like the PC, particularly when you buy digitally, if you want the fully updated game. Now, asterisk to that is, if you're connected to the internet, it will force installation of updates. But if you disconnect the internet, then it should be fine. Put the disc in, and you're good to go. And for the older generation consoles, the original Xbox One, PS4, the installations on consoles can take at most an entire day because of the hard drive that's in them. If you bust them open and swap out that hard drive for an SSD, that download speed will improve significantly. Now I will take this opportunity to list out the differences and the similarities between the consoles and the PC to show you exactly what it is that you have to work with. The consoles that I will be talking about specifically are the Xbox One, the 360, PS4, PS3, Wii U, and the Switch. I'm leaving out the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5, but I will leave links to Linus Tech Tips' video on the Xbox systems and Digital Foundry's reviews of the Xbox systems and the PlayStation 5. So my talking points for these systems are going to be the available marketplaces, in-game chat options, upgradability, ability to repair, online play, peripherals, specifically controller options, VR support, graphical settings and resolution, frame rate, social network, so friends, backwards compatibility, exclusives, and then any miscellaneous noteworthy points. So we'll start with the PC first. So on the PC side, you have an open marketplace available to you. You can get your games from the service of your choice. You can get it from Steam, Origin, GOG, Epic, and the Ubisoft store. Indie games are available to you via the itch.io launcher and website, as well as websites like GameJolt and IndieDB. Physical discs are also available to buy, however, they're not as commonly used in the PC side of gaming. For in-game chat options, Steam, Origin, Uplay, and GOG have in-game chat through easily accessible overlays. And from what I was able to find, Steam is now the only service that has a voice chat option. If I am wrong, please correct me, along with any other point in this list that I might actually be wrong about. I am human. I can be wrong. Upgrading. Taking old hardware and switching to the new. Here's the thing. I can make a video talking about upgrading a PC all on its own. Short version of this is a majority of the time, you will not need to buy an entire new system to upgrade your hardware. You can buy the individual parts and upgrade your computer yourself. Repairs. If a component inside the computer gets damaged, you do not need to send the entire system to some company for repairs. You can take out the damaged part, buy a new one, or if it's still in warranty, because opening your computer case and removing components will not void warranties, you can get a replacement part free of charge and repair the system yourself. It's as simple as taking out the old part and putting in a new one. Online, it does not cost you extra to play online with friends. Available peripherals are mouse and keyboard, wired controller, wireless controller via wireless adapter, aircraft sim joysticks, and a racing wheel. System depending, available VR options are the HTC Vive Pro, HTC Cosmos, Oculus Rift S, Windows Mixed Reality, not recommended, and the Valve Index. I am not including the Oculus Quest headsets, as they are advertised as standalone headsets that do not require the PC to run. For graphical settings and resolution, there is no determined set resolution for any graphics card, as resolution is completely adjustable on PC. And in-game, you can adjust the resolution, anti-aliasing, texture quality, so on and so on, to give yourself either a more detailed image at a slightly lower frame rate, or you can lower all of those settings and the resolution to give yourself a boost in frame rate, to give yourself a more competitive edge in competitive online multiplayer games. Say for example, first-person shooters. Frame rate, good old FPS. There's actually a lot more to frame rate than you might be led to believe. However, for this comparison specifically, frame rate in-game is determined by the capabilities of your graphics card and what settings your game is running at. Maybe I should make a video going into more detail on the PC. Let me know what you think. Media, PC has it all. Literally. YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, iTunes, Spotify, Twitch, Funimation, Crunchyroll, Disney+. If you can think of it, it's on PC. Social, so friends. Steam, Origin, GOG, Uplay, Epic, they have friends lists. GOG has account integration, so if you have friends on GOG and you have friends on Steam, you just link your accounts and they'll show up on GOG's client. Steam has a security feature with friends. To add people, you need to spend a total of $5 in any variation. Buying a game, adding money to your Steam wallet. However, this won't be a problem. This won't be an immediate problem, because if you go on Steam for the first time and you immediately buy a game and then add your friends, you won't even know that the security feature was there. Alright, backwards compatibility. PC is quite literally the king of backwards compatibility. Thanks to services like GOG, Good Old Games for short, you can play games like the original Metal Gear Solid from 2002, Ultimate Doom 1995. You can still play Akalabeth, World of Doom, and that was released in 1980. Exclusives? This was difficult for me to find because of how many PC-only games that there are. The only number that I could actually find was 2,430 from a Wikipedia article that said Windows-only games. If this number is wrong, please tell me. Alright, so for the miscellaneous notes, PC has a massive array of emulation software for ability to play basically every marketed game available, legal and ethical debates aside, as that is a discussion by itself. And Steam Big Picture Mode, Steam's console-like format for if you have your PC hooked up to a TV and you're playing on the couch. Yes, despite apparent popular misinformation, you can, in fact, connect your PC to a TV and play games from the couch like you would a console. Alright, coming over to the Xbox One and Xbox 360 for Marketplace, Digitally, you have closed market only. Digital games can only be bought from the Microsoft Store. Physical discs can be bought from whatever retailer, just like with all the other consoles. In-game chat options, both Xbox One and 360 have in-game text and voice chat through overlay. Also, funny thing that I didn't know about until I tested it while I was getting footage for this video. You can message someone on an Xbox 360 and they'll receive it through the Xbox social system. Whether they're on an Xbox or a PC, doesn't matter. Now, does that seem like an obvious thing that would happen looking back on it? Absolutely, but nevertheless, I was surprised when Zach messaged me back. Upgrading. To upgrade, you must buy the next generation console or later. You cannot upgrade individual parts. The most obvious example of needing to buy an entire new system for an upgrade is the Xbox One family. You have the OG Xbox One, then Xbox One S, Xbox One Elite, who remembers that one, and then Xbox One X. They're all Xbox Ones, they're just upgrades. But you have to buy a whole new system to get that upgrade. You are upgrading when you buy a newer console. Repair. If your Xbox system breaks, you must send it back to get repaired or be charged for a replacement system. You cannot repair it yourself. Online. There is only paid online. You have to pay for a membership to play online. That said, Xbox Live Gold by itself is a complete scam. If you have to have Live Gold membership, get it through Game Pass. Xbox 360 does not have Game Pass, unfortunately. So for online play for that system, you have to pay for Gold by itself. For Xbox Live Gold membership in US dollars, 1 month is $9.99, 3 months, $24.99. Apparently 12 months is no longer available via the Xbox Store, but I do remember it being somewhere around $40 or $50. Peripherals for both systems are wireless controllers and a Kinect, and for the Xbox One, funny enough, is mouse and keyboard support. Now it says on the support Xbox website that you can use a wired USB mouse and keyboard for navigation. It does not say anything about wireless. But of course, if I am wrong, please let me know. The Xbox platforms do not have VR. For resolution, Xbox One is native 1080p, and the Xbox 360 is native 720p, with the max resolution being upscaled 1080. Now, keep in mind, that is only for display resolution. This does not mean that games that you play on an Xbox One are rendering at native 1080p, because a lot of them do not. Frame rate. The consoles, despite any misinformation that you might hear, are not locked to a frame rate. The same goes for the rest of this lineup. They will run games at 60 FPS if that game is not too demanding for that console's hardware. That said, if you are curious about frame rate in-game for these specific consoles, there are some very helpful videos by Digital Foundry that run frame rate tests for games for these consoles. Media on Xbox One, you have YouTube, Netflix, Twitch, Funimation, Microsoft Edge web browser, Spotify, Hulu, Disney+, Prime Video, HBO, Crunchyroll, Amazon Music, news apps, and sports apps. If I missed any, tell me. Xbox 360 has YouTube, Netflix, Internet Explorer, Hulu, Amazon Video, Vudu, whatever the hell that is, Crunchyroll, Vimeo, wow, Yahoo browser, news apps, movies apps. And for music, it has iHeartRadio. Sounds nice. Friends, as I mentioned before, Friends is run through the Xbox Social. Backwards compatibility, Xbox One has 557 games playable from the 360 and 42 from the original Xbox. And the 360 obviously only has the 42 from the original. Alright, exclusives. Now, despite what some publications might try and tell you, after Microsoft's integration of games to Windows, the Xbox platform no longer has console-exclusive games. Oh, Xbox also has a racing wheel. I forgot to mention that. Okay, for PlayStation, just like the Xbox systems, PlayStation digital games are closed market, only available in the PlayStation Store. Physical discs by retailers. In-game chat. For the PlayStation 4, there is no in-game text chat options through overlay. You have to get out of the game temporarily by pressing the PlayStation button to answer messages. Voice chat is available, however. On the PlayStation 3, there is messaging available through overlay. You don't have to get out of the game to answer a message, but there is no in-game voice chat. They were so close, yet apparently so far. Upgrading is the same as the Xboxes. If you want to upgrade, you have to buy a completely new system. So if you want an upgrade from the PlayStation 3, you have to buy a PlayStation 4. If you want to upgrade from PlayStation 4, go to the PlayStation 4 Pro or higher. Repair, if a system breaks, you have to send it back for them to repair it or charge you to replace it. Just like the Xbox. Online. PlayStation 4 is paid online through PlayStation Plus. 1 month for $9.99, 3 months $24.99, and 12 months is $59.99. The PlayStation 3, however, does not have paid online. You do not have to pay for a membership to play games online on the PlayStation 3. Peripherals on the PlayStation 4 are wireless controllers, PS Move, and the PS Camera. On PlayStation 3, it is just the wireless controller. VR only on PlayStation 4 and its Pro variant is the PlayStation VR headset. Resolution, PlayStation 4 at a native 1080p and the PlayStation 3 at 720 with 1080p upscaled. Same thing as before, this does not mean that all of the games will run at that resolution. Frame rate, same deal as the Xbox. However, I did read something for the PlayStation 3 about the Sony president at one point claiming that the PlayStation 3 could run games at 120 FPS, but it actually mostly runs games at 30 FPS according to Digital Foundry's frame test videos, so yeah. For media, PlayStation 4 has YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, Spotify, Disney+, Twitch, Funimation, it's mostly the same as the Xbox, and an internet browser. PlayStation 3, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, IE, Internet Explorer. Spotify is same things as the Xbox 360. I'm noticing a trend here. Friends, PlayStation Friends, once again, you do not need an online membership to add and message people, but you do need it to play with them on PlayStation 4. Backwards compatibility. This one confused me for a minute, but it's okay. I mostly figured it out. On both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, you can buy the backwards compatible games from the PlayStation Store without any subscriptions. However, you have a second option of a paid subscription service called PlayStation Now that is at the same price points as PlayStation Plus that lets you download and play the backwards compatible titles for free. Again, debates aside. As well as it lets you play PlayStation games on the PC. PlayStation Now is not on PlayStation 3 anymore. as it has been discontinued on that console. Also keep in mind that PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus are separate services. So, if you want the PlayStation Now service and you want to play online with your friends, you have to pay for both separately. Exclusives: PlayStation 4 has 99 according to Sony, while the PlayStation 3, the only number I could find was 186, so if that's wrong, let me know. Up next on our list is Nintendo, and well, Nintendo is a bit of a different beast. Nintendo really doesn't care about the whole console war thing. They're pretty much just doing their own thing. Nintendo is mostly centered around family-friendly games. You know, games for the whole family to play together, right? Alright, so Wii U and Switch, closed digital market from Nintendo eShop, standard fare. In-game chat: Wii U has no in-game chat, no voice chat. Switch, no in-game chat, but select games have in-game voice chat through third-party apps. Upgrades: now oddly enough, Nintendo doesn't have upgrades, quote unquote. All of their systems are so different from each other, they're really just different systems. They're not upgrades of each other. The only systems that could be considered in this category would be going from the Wii to the Wii U. Repair of the consoles is the same thing as usual. If it's repaired or damaged, you have to send it back. Online: Wii U has no paid online. Switch has paid online, however, Nintendo's paid online is cheaper than Microsoft's or Sony's. 1 month is $3.99, 3 months $7.99, and 12 months $19.99. And there's a family membership option for up to 8 players at $34.99. Peripherals: on the Wii U, you have the Wii U gamepad, the Wii U Pro Controller, and the Wiimote and Nunchuck. On the Switch, you have the Joy-Con, Switch wired Pro Controllers, and wireless Pro Controllers. For VR, the Switch has the Labo VR. I'm gonna be honest. I looked at this thing for a while. I really have no idea how to explain it to any of you. Really, the only way to learn about this one is to just look for it. It's on YouTube. It's easy to find. Resolution: Wii U is at 1080p. The Switch, 1080p docked and 720p handheld. Frame rate is the same as the other consoles, same deal. Media: the Wii U has YouTube, Netflix, Crunchyroll, Amazon Video, Hulu, and internet browsers. The Switch has no media. It looks like for the Switch, Nintendo has gone back to the standard game console thing where it's just there to play games. It doesn't have any of these apps. For your social, your friends, you got your friends list on the Wii U. On the Switch, friends list. I understand there's a little bit of confusion with it. So, to add friends on Switch, you have to go to your profile page, go to Add Friends, and under the Send Friend Requests icon, you will see your 12-digit friend code. Just send that to whoever you want to add. Backwards compatibility. The Nintendo Switch does not have backwards compatibility. On the Wii U, every Wii game will work with the Wii U. The Wii U cannot run GameCube discs. And for the miscellaneous remarks, on the Wii U, emulation, or virtual console according to Nintendo, is remarkably impressive. On the Wii U, you can play Wii, N64, Game Boy Advanced, Nintendo DS, NES, and SNES games. No GameCube, however, unfortunately. On the Nintendo Switch, emulation is only available through paid online membership, and it can emulate NES and SNES games. Okay, that's it for the comparisons. Now, the consoles in this list, you cannot adjust graphical settings like texture quality and resolution in-game. You cannot change that on the consoles. Consoles can also have ads, can have buggy games, they can have software updates, hardware malfunctions, just like in a PC. You can also buy game key codes from a website called G2A for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo systems. Now, with the PC platform, you can, of course, build your own custom system. However, these days, with the outrageous price inflation of some PC components, compared to an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5, it is very difficult for PC users to match those two consoles in price to performance. And I'm not factoring in the 30 series graphics cards until more people can actually buy them. There are videos like this one from Jay's 2 Cents talking about the matter if you are interested in learning more. It's actually a rather interesting point of discussion. Now, also on the PC side, as mentioned, you can build yourself a system, but you can also buy a pre-built system, much like a console. However, to that, there have been a variety of issues with some of these companies that are shown on, like Gamers Nexus reviewing NZXT build, and the series on Linus Tech Tips Secret Shopper, where they test Origin, Dell, HP, iBuyPower, CyberPower, etc. This is not an issue with the platform, this is an issue with the companies. And this is an industry where the more you know, the better off you will be it on the PC platform or the consoles. Because remember, companies are never your friends. Ever. Alright, now that all of that's done, let's look at some screenshots of a debate, huh? Alright, so these are screenshots of a PC versus console debate that happened on Discord. And for the one arguing for the console, these are interesting arguments. They're not what I would have gone with. There are good reasons for why a console could be better. As I mentioned earlier, it's difficult to match price to performance with console these days. Even before the new consoles launched, PC part prices were just getting insane. Or maybe you move around a lot and it's just more convenient because of the form factor. There are good reasons. Most of them are subjective, but they are still reasons. However, the arguments made by this person are not what I would call good reasons. I counter, with my PC I can upgrade whatever I need, and I can do my own repairs and control everything just how I like it. I'm not restricted to OS, or what I can do with it. I don't need to buy a whole new PC when it starts getting outdated. Pro Console counters with, no one cares about upgrading. I can do that, I'm just lazy. So as was said before with the upgrading, you can do everything yourself. And if you don't know how, but you want to try, there are plenty of easy guides online on YouTube from people like Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 Cents, Gamers Nexus, and Bitwit as a few examples that you can follow. They're very straightforward and very easy to follow. Also, you don't speak for other people. Please do not say what people do or do not care about. Then why do many people buy new consoles? Because A, consoles cheap, B, do what they're meant for, I'm assuming, C, is an actual games console. Where does it say games console on a PC? So, are you arguing that if it doesn't say game console on the system, then it's not made with the main focus being on gaming? Because if you are, that's stupid. Okay, that is what he's saying. That's insanely stupid. You can build a PC for whatever purpose you want for it. That's the beauty of this choice. If you want to build for, let's say, office work and only light gaming, go for it. If you want to build where the main focus is full gaming at max settings and high frame rates, guess what? You can do that too. And because that was the purpose of that particular build, guess what? It was made for the sole purpose of gaming. Just because a system has the ability to perform other tasks, that doesn't determine the purpose behind its building. Just like how I can flip this and say, where does it say computer on a game console? You can browse the internet, you can watch live streams on YouTube and listen to music on them. Also, this may come as a shock to you, but let me take a moment to drop some knowledge on you. What's in a PC that makes it a computer? You have a motherboard, a CPU, a GPU, you have RAM, you have a storage device like a hard drive, and you have a power supply and some kind of cooling. Now what's inside a game console? Do you think it's run off of hopes and dreams? If you feel like voiding your warranty and opening it up and taking it apart, you know what you'll find? You'll find a motherboard, CPU, GPU combo called an APU, RAM, usually soldered to the board, a hard drive, a power supply, a disk drive, and some variation of an attempt at cooling. It is the literal definition of a computer. Now, where does it say computer on a game console? In fact, this is where I can flip it even further. Taking what we've gone over so far, instead of saying game console, you should be saying game computer. Now that we've identified the components and now the proper terminology, your statement should really be, where does it say game computer on a PC? Which, do you see why this argument is dumb now? What quality? There is no difference in graphics whatsoever, LMAO. Oh boy, this comment did not age well. There is absolutely a difference in quality. Funny enough, there's an entire channel that I've been referencing throughout this entire video called Digital Foundry that has graphics comparisons, frame rate tests, performance benchmarks, and more to show you the differences and similarities between platforms with the same game. Sometimes even just between two different consoles. I think probably the game that has the largest difference between console and PC that I have seen in the past has been The Witcher 3. And now, in 2021, I think just mentioning the name Cyberpunk will kind of speak for itself, but that's a different conversation entirely. Here's Digital Foundry with a whole playlist of graphics comparisons videos that you probably haven't seen before because that would have meant that you were wrong. Have I made my point yet? In case I haven't, I'll continue. The argument I don't see the difference is essentially useless as a point in debates. Why? Because it's a subjective argument. It is impossible to argue against personal feelings, which in this case is exactly what that is. So it's not so much a fair argument to use in a debate, because it can't be debated. But fortunately, objectivity doesn't give a fuck about feelings or what you personally do or do not see. So we have measurable standards to help tell us whether something is different or not, giving us a definitive answer on whether or not something is, in fact, different. This debate occurred before the release of the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, which means we're working with the Xbox One X at best and PlayStation 4 Pro at best. So, the simple fact that you can change resolution at all on PC is a measurable difference. Now, let's take Witcher 3 as the control for this hypothetical test here. Now, if we're arguing from the PS4 Pro's 4K capabilities, you're slightly shooting yourself in the foot because that is in fact not 4K that you're seeing. What the PlayStation 4 Pro is doing, just like the Xbox One X, is checkerboard rendering at 2160p resolution to give the illusion of 4K, essentially upscaling a 2K resolution to 4K, making it not 4K, but an upscaled 2K. Taking this information and now putting it next to a full 4K gameplay recording, they look the same, but on an objectively measured level, they are in fact not the same at all. Which, if you own a PlayStation 4 Pro and you look at the image, then I can understand the confusion. If you're arguing from a standard PlayStation 4 standpoint, though, you have absolutely no excuse. The difference is as clear as a bright sunny day. I will leave a link to Digital Foundry's video on the PlayStation 4 Pro Witcher 3 graphics comparison if you are interested in what I just described. Coming from the standpoint of a person that plays on both, I see no difference whatsoever. Well, coming from the standpoint of someone who not only also plays on both, but has played on console for more years of my life than PC, I say you are not only wrong, but you have not even tried to find out whether you're right about the claim that you're making. Where is the leg to stand on? I've played console for 15 years. That means nothing, you're still wrong. I played on PC and gaming laptops for 4 to 5 years, I still see zero difference. Only the FPS. Well, there's your problem right there. I'm gonna guess that your PC is under-spec'd by now and is in the age range of should be upgraded, and your laptop is a mid-range laptop at best. Let's take BDO for instance. Let's take Witcher 3 for another instance. It looks way better on PC. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Overall, finding the actual numbers for some of my data has been one of the more difficult parts for this, so like I said throughout the video, if I got anything wrong, please let me know. I'll see you guys later.